by Alderman Gonzalez.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we come to this meeting tonight, we give you thanks and admiration for what you're doing for our city. Lord, I thank you for what's going on. Lord, just watch over the people that have the COVID disease. Be with our officials that we can stay healthy and clean. Lord, I also thank you for being with us on a daily basis and protecting us. Be with this council tonight to make the right decisions. Lord, I ask you to lead this for all of us. Be with the citizens of Taylorville and watch over them. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Megan Bright?
Yes. Here.
Here. John Burrow?
Here.
Ernie Dorchenez?
Here.
Kathy Driscoll?
Here.
Lee Landzadi?
Here.
Jim Olive? Crystal Petty?
Here.
All Aldermen present except for all. Motion to approve the omnibus vote designation.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second by Alderman Driscoll. Roll call.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
John Burrow?
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez?
Yeah.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
Lee Landzadi?
Yes.
Crystal Petty?
Yes.
Megan Bright?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held September 8, 2020. Minutes of the regular meeting held September 8, 2020. Minutes of the Water Environmental Committee meeting held September 10, 2020. Minutes of the Lake and Airport Committee meeting held September 10, 2020. Minutes of the Ordinance Committee meeting held September 17, 2020. Minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held September 17, 2020. Motion to approve all meetings. Motion by Alderman Bud, second by Alderman Driscoll. Roll call.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
John Burrow?
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
Lee Landzadi?
Yes.
Crystal Petty?
Yes.
Megan Bright?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Plan Commission's recommendations. Mr. Kretzer?
Mayor, we'd like to direct the city council to have the city attorney drop an ordinance for special use for Great Curtin and Hampshire.
All right.
By unanimous vote.
Thank you very much for your work. We need a motion to approve the Plan Commission's recommendations. Motion by Alderman Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Scoltetti, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Kretzer. An ordinance amending section 9-1-1 of chapter 1 to title 9 of the Taylorville City Code, building permits. Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Bryant, questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, I direct the council's attention to page 3. There's a blank there. No one told me how much lineal foot you want to charge for the permit fee.
Or which one is this on?
It's on subparagraph E2 on page 3. You need to decide how much lineal foot you want to charge.
I thought it was 10. That was
The 10 was a 10-inch width of the planks.
No, Andy had said something about it was gonna be the same as everything else, whether it was $10 a yard, how big is, I don't know dimensions.
What is it currently?
This was drafted as the per lineal foot. And I think that's maybe the new language here.
Anyone know the answer to E2?
Do you want me, I can ask him real quick.
$10.
I thought it was, but.
We're gonna charge $10 for a lineal foot,
That's-
privacy fence.
No, I think that's.
You got
$5.
You got 500 lineal
Yeah.
foot of privacy fence.
Dollars.
On your property, that's gonna be
Yeah.
pretty hefty fee.
Most
what we
fence
discussed
permits are
before.
around $15 for the
yeah.
house.
Not for the,
No, they're just $15.
$15 per fence.
yeah.
What it is currently.
back to it?
Yeah.
I just asked him, so I'll find out.
All right, well, can I get a motion to table this till we get back?
Make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Driscoll, second.
Can we table it in the same meeting we come back to it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, second.
Second, Alderman Bryant, roll call on tabling this.
Okay. Sean Bertle,
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yeah.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi. Crystal Tech.
Yeah.
Megan Bryan.
Yeah.
Larry Bud.
Motion carries 7-0 to table. An ordinance amending subparagraph C of section 6-4-4 of the Taylorville City Code. Slow children at play restriction, 800 block of West Main Cross. Motion, Alderman Dorchenez.
Second.
Second, Alderman Bryan. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Crystal Tech.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. An ordinance authorizing the city of Taylorville to enter into certain annexation agreement pursuant to 65 ILCS 5/11-15/2-1 &C. This was the ordinance, the annexations we talked about in the public hearing, so I'll make a motion. Alderman Bryant, second.
I'm Bertle.
Alderman Bertle. Roll call.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Crystal Tech.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Motion carries 8-0. Mayor votes yes. Motion to pay Antler Excavating Incorporated in an amount of $13,208.98 for work performed on the Valentine's Edition Ward 3 Storm Sewer Project. Contractor's pay request number 3. This condition upon receipt of signed mechanical waiver in this amount and recommendation by the project engineer that the work has been satisfactorily performed.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second by Alderman Dorchenez. Comments or questions? Roll call.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Crystal Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. City attorney update.
Two quick matters, first of which on Burnett Trust easement. I think I shared with you an email I've sent out to their council. I have not heard back yet as of tonight's meeting, but I think you've seen the changes they requested. The mayor's going to be checking on RP lumber easement tomorrow. The other thing is that at the last Taylorville Fire Protection District meeting that the mayor attended, they requested to be put on the Finance Committee agenda. Your auditor has raised a question about this $30,000 supposed to come in each year. For whatever reason, it wasn't deposited to the city, but according to the Fire Protection District records, they actually expended $41,000 and some change for the fire department, their request, and they just recently ordered a $250,000 rescue squad car for the fire department. So they're asking to come at your October 15th meeting to discuss with you, actually at the fire chief's request as well, is to change that contract so to make the procedure a little easier, so that the fire chief can just come to the district meeting and make certain requests, and then they will approve it at that meeting. So that's what that's all about. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I think that's the way it was before and we changed it.
Right. You got a new,
So we're going
you got a new
back.
fire chief, and you got a new 2/3 new board. So-
Actually, it sounds exactly what we used to do.
Yeah, right, it did.
Why didn't it
I
work?
think one of the reasons that we're doing this, we have a more progressive board on the Taylorville Fire Protection District, which includes 2 former firemen, and they see the needs and the wants where the previous board didn't really. So I think they were more or less hoarding their money, which is good in one way, because they saved enough money to build us a new, or to buy us a new fire truck. But I think this will work out better, and this is what the Fire Protection District is requesting.
Will you make sure that gets on my agenda?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I did talk to Iris, too, and as long as you folks are satisfied that they did spend what they were supposed to spend, she'll be okay with the audit. Just need to keep that cleared up. Okay. That's all I got, Mayor. For now.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Attorney Romano. First, congratulations to the British Courier for the awards they won this past week. Congratulations, Owen and the police courier. Thank you to Lucia in the water billing department. Only person in there since last Wednesday, except for a little bit of help from Will. Thank you to the clerk's office for helping the water billing office out, and thank you for Andrea for helping in there. Seems like the water billing department is doing well with just Lucia. This Saturday will be the last farmers market. Thank you to Marcia Neal and downtown.org for organizing this year after year. Chili Fest is less than 2 weeks away. It's going to be a little different this year with social distancing. My thanks to Patty Hornbuckle and the Chamber for making this event possible. I believe it's the 35th year, correct, Megan? Mm-hmm. Last week I attended a meeting at the high school. I listened to many concerned parents and students, and I support the school board and Dr. Doherty in all her fullest and all her decisions that she must make. We received news this morning regarding the bid on the bicycle bridge, and it came in over 37% higher than what we thought it might. With Pena being the lead applicant, we will be in talks with them on how we will both want to proceed. Note, I will have more information in the next few days. I'm supposed to meet with the engineer and Pena either tomorrow or Wednesday. Tomorrow is the first day for the election packets. Today I made the announcement on the radio that I will be seeking a second term as mayor. I hope that each alderman that is up for election will decide that they want to put the work in to better our city. In the past 41 months, and with the help of the city council, we have achieved some of the things that were important to me when I ran for mayor 4 years ago. We set out to clean up our community. We have torn down over 40 houses with agreements to tear down 2 to 3 more, but we still have work to do in that area. My second priority was to achieve development in our northwest corridor, and while establishing the TIF district along with the business development district, these two tools led us to getting Steak and Shake and HSHS. We worked with the TDA in securing funding from the federal EDA to launch our new industrial park in this area. Thank you, Rodney Davis, for the help. A year and a half into my administration, we were struck with an EF3 tornado. Thank you to the surrounding communities for their help, and also thank you to Senator Menard and Governor Pritzker for including $500,000 in last year's state budget for our tornado recovery. The big news this summer was we received a $1.551 million grant to repave East Main Cross. Our top priorities remains cut expenses and raise revenues. Any ideas from the aldermen would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for helping me achieve some of the things we set out with 4 years ago. Also, a reminder for the census, have about 10 days to fill the census out. We're at 73.2% right now, so hope everyone that hears this, and a reminder to please fill your census out. Thank you very much. All right. Committee reports. Discussions and or motions to approve, adopt, and or deny, and or table, and or amend, and or refer to the appropriate committee in whole or in part the matters regarding the following subject matters discussed at the committee level. Water and environmental. Alderman Bertle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first motion that came out of committee was a motion to recommend the city council to pay Benton Associates $5,489.26 for work performed related to construction of the new water treatment plant. I'll make that form motion.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Bud. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Driscoll Teddy?
Yes.
Megan Bryant?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Burdell?
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
Lee Landzadi?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Next motion was to recommend to the city council to approve the low bid for 18 hydrants and valves from Core and Main at a cost not to exceed $41,622. I'll make that form motion.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Bud. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Megan Bryant?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Burdell?
Yes.
Bernie
Yes.
Dorchenez? Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
Lee Landzadi?
Yes.
Driscoll Teddy?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Next motion was to recommend to the city council to approve the low quote for non-domestic valve boxes and lids to the utility pipe sales for a price of $2,392.04. I got one more.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second, Alderman Bud. Questions, comments, roll call?
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Crystal Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Last motion was to recommend to the city council to direct the city attorney to draft an agreement to allow CTI to place an antenna on the high school water tower and to waive any conflict of interest for the city to prepare such an agreement.
That should read for the city attorney to prepare such an agreement, because I also represent CTI.
That's what it says here.
That's what I thought it said.
Motion by Alderman Bertle,
Right there.
Sorry.
second by Alderman Scaltetti. Questions or comments?
Question.
Yeah?
Are we gonna rent money for that, or is that just, we're just letting them put it up there?
Yes, we usually charge for that.
You know, the motion that I saw in the committee was I prepared the agreement, and then I think Dave and the mayor was gonna negotiate the price with CTI
Okay.
Tech, is that correct?
Yeah, then it'll come back to committee for
All right,
approval.
Well, I won't be involved in that.
But we need to waive the conflict of interest because you represent CTI also, correct?
Right.
Okay. Roll call.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Crystal Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Lake and Airport, Alderman Dorchenez.
Thank you, Your Honor. First motion that came out of the Lake Airport Committee meeting was the motion to recommend the City Council to accept the offer made by Bruce Nation of Nation Farms to extend the current terms of $350 an acre through the crop year of 2024 to direct the city attorney to draw a lease accordingly. Take the form of the motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorchenez,
Second.
second by Alderman Bryant. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next motion was to recommend the City Council to approve the city making improvements at the marina for the 2020, 2021, and 2021-22 seasons, at which time the city will review the progress. I'd like to make that a form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second by Alderman Scaltetti. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next motion was to recommend to the City Council to direct the City Clerk's office to procure prices to purchase a card reader for the marina boat dock gas sales. I'd like to make that a form of
Second.
motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second by Alderman Bertle. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Sean, we usually do the motion first, not, you don't do the second for the first.
You said it. I just speed it up.
Oh, you just beat it up?
Oh, okay. Next motion was to recommend the City Council to purchase and install a barcode scanner from Pemco for the existing Ruby system with training provided at cost not to exceed $1,174.80. How do they make that in a form of motion?
Second.
Motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second by Alderman Bertle.
That's what you all messed up.
Questions or comments? Roll call.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yeah.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yeah.
Crystal Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Ordinance, Alderman
Thank
Bryant.
you. First, we have a motion to recommend to the city council to approve the purchase of the current edition of the NFPA Life Safety Code and direct the city attorney to prepare an ordinance to reflect that update. I'd like to put that in motion.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second. Alderman Bud, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next is a motion to recommend to the city council to approve a Class O liquor license for Tangle Salon pending receipt of proper application and verification of the location of the gaming area. Put that in form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second.
No, I'd like to make since Jim Olive isn't here tonight, I'd like to make a motion to table this
Second.
until he's here.
Motion by Alderman Dorchenez at the table, second by Alderman Bertle. Roll call on tabling it.
Kathy Driscoll. No. Lee Landzadi.
No.
Crystal Teddy.
No.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Motion to table, 4-3.
Next, we have a motion to recommend to the city council to direct the city attorney to prepare an ordinance to amend the city code to place a four-way stop sign at the intersection of Oak and Snodgrass and Ash and Snodgrass. That's a form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second by Alderman Bud. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next is a motion to recommend the city council to direct the city attorney to draft a new ordinance regarding nuisance home through landlord accountability, fines, legal, and monetary penalties. Put that in form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second. Alderman Scarpelli, questions or comments? Comment, Alderman Bertle?
Well, we tried this a few years back, and we had a whole, and I missed this meeting, so I apologize. But we had a whole audience full of landlords, angry landlords. So what's different now than what we talked about then? You know?
Well, I believe Chief Wheeler brought this up. We're trying to get rid of some of these nuisance homes where people are actually arrested for either for drugs or domestic violence, things like that. It seems to be the same home always involved in it. You know, one falls on Colony, one on East Franklin, named numerous ones. I don't think the people that own these particular homes were in the meeting there a couple of years ago, so it might be different landlords than showed up here. So I think that's the difference that was discussed at the meeting.
I just wondered how much accountability is gonna be put on the landlords, because that was the big drawback the last time, where
Chief
that
Wheeler-
they felt like that they were gonna be doing law enforcement's job, and they didn't wanna do that.
Well, Chief Wheeler brought up an ordinance from Peoria. The question at the committee was whether us being non-home rule, do we have the same enforcement as Peoria does? And they seem to be working pretty good, like on so-called drug houses. They've been ordered to get them condemned and then either tear them down or sell them, somebody to fix them up or something.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with the whole drug thing and getting the deadbeats out of town. I don't wanna put a whole bunch of burden on landlords to try to enforce a bunch of ordinances and laws and different things on real people, because as you know, if you've ever, you probably know, because you've been to court and you've probably witnessed, the fact that the tenants have more rights than the landlords, it's ignorant the way it's set up. So I can see another burden going on landlord trying to get the tenant out, which they can't do. And then on top of that, now we're gonna enforce that, or have them enforce some kind of ordinance or laws or regulations to whatever we're gonna force them to do. So I just.
Well, let me help you a little bit with this. I was gonna ask the Alderman Bryant, if this motion was passed, to speak with me on this, because if you look at the ordinances that was addressed in the chief's minutes of the meeting, you already have on the books now, under 54-4-8 on disorderly house, that the owner is already responsible. There is a provision that's been in the books since 2013, where if a police officer finds that a particular house has within a 12-month period 2 violations, they send a notice to the owner at least 30 days in advance, and they either have to get it straightened out or they're going to be subject to a fine. We've enforced that ordinance many times before, so I don't know what we're going to change on that. Number 2 is if you look on your 4-4-13-1 on the nuisance and neglected property, you incorporate by reference the International Property Maintenance Code of 2009. That's been on the books since 2015. That particular national code does have provisions what a landlord's responsible for and what a tenant's responsible for. So I would urge you to take a look at that closely before you ask me to rewrite the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe we should table
Alderman
it.
Bryant?
Well, I was just gonna, what Sean was saying, the way I understood it, it wasn't like policing like little things. It was when the same house was getting the same bus all the time. And I think those landlords need to be held accountable for those, you know? I mean, after, you know, 1 time, maybe not, 2 times, come on, you know? But I don't think it was to like, meant to enforce like grass or garbage or stuff like that.
I've tried to get tenants out of my rental property, and it's not as easy as you might think.
Yeah.
They have way more rights than the owners, way more rights.
But maybe we
Well,
need to.
particularly right now with the
You
COVID-19
can't even
pandemic,
get out.
the governor just put out another, well, actually expired on the 19th, unless they extended it. You couldn't evict anybody in the COVID-19 pandemic, or executive order of our governor.
Maybe though, hearing what Rocky has to say, maybe we should hold off and talk to Wheeler and see what we already have on the books. or maybe just modifying what we already have a little bit instead of a whole new ordinance might be
So you would
more
make a
feasible.
motion to table
Yeah,
this.
I'll make a motion to
by
table.
Alderman Bryant to
Second.
table, second by Alderman Driscoll, roll call.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Driscoll Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Finance meeting, Alderman Bud.
Thank you. The first motion was recommend city council approve the purchase of an Acer laptop computer along with the monitor, docking station, necessary hardware for the street and sewer department. Superintendent, at a cost not to exceed $2,000 to be paid from the street department equipment line item. Make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud.
Second.
Second by Alderman Bryant. Questions or
I
comments?
have a question. Is there a reason we went with,
Driscoll.
when we went with, instead of an iPad, is there a reason we went with a laptop?
Yeah, because he wants it to be a docking station.
Okay.
You know, so you can't dock or USBs, or if he wants to upload his pictures or whatever, you can't do that with an iPad, so.
Perfect, thank you.
I did ask Alderman Bryant to give CTI a chance to match any other price, so hope she does that.
Yes, I will.
Okay. All right, roll call.
Driscoll Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
The next motion was to recommend the city council approve the application for VDD benefits related to private VDD eligible redevelopment project costs for, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name or her name or the last name.
Lyrum.
I call him Larry.
It's Lyrum.
Larry and his wife.
Jamezy
Zini.
Berkshirowski, and then not to exceed 50,000.
Motion by Alderman Bud. Second by Alderman Bryant. Questions or comments? Roll
I didn't
call.
hear the motion.
Megan Bryant.
It's gonna come back.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Driscoll Teddy.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, the next is an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a business development District 1 redevelopment agreement by and between the city of Taylorville, Illinois, and Larry Versowski and Zisny Versowski, LP Coffee and Creamery. Make that a form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud.
Second.
Second by Alderman Bryant. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All
Roll call.
opposed?
No, roll call.
Roll call, excuse me, roll call.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell. Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Driscoll Teddy.
Yep.
Megan Bryant.
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Yes, motion carries 8-0.
And the last motion, recommend send the city council to approve the treasurer's report. Make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second. Alderman Skoltedi, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve and or ratify payment of bills. Motion by Alderman Bud.
Second.
Second by Alderman Dorchenez. Comments, Alderman Bud?
Bills total $391,504.34. Insurance, this is health insurance for 2 months. $167,845. Travelers, liability, auto, and umbrella, $41,480.75. I believe this is the first payment of that. So total insurance tonight is $209,325.75. Electric, $15,015.29. Fuel, $13,849.13. Garbage, $2,938.27. Ace, Ron's, and Urban, $2,830.77. Computer Tech, $4,934.21. R&D computer for Laserfish, $1,173. Taylorville Chamber for the chili, $8,000. Bittner Associates, $6,489.26. Johnson Engineering for the final on the generator, $2,420. Joe Serby, 404 East Park, $2,350. Altorfer, $2,956.26. USA Blue Book, $1,008.86. Nokomis Quarry, $1,008.54. BDD Angelos, $1,420.86. Bittner Associates, $2,618.99. MFT, Benton and Associates for East and West Main Cross, $17,975. Police and Fire Commission for medical evaluations, $1,320. Police and Fire for uniforms and equipment, $4,211. Police Department, Pages Auto Body, for the 2019 Taurus, $10,998.36. And the city really only paid $1,000, the rest of it was paid by the insurance, that was our deductible of $1,000. Fire Department, McQueen, Emergency Maintenance, T1, $4,308. Sewer Department, Antler Excavating, $13,208.98. Water Department, IEPA for water testing, $12,346.12. Badger Meter for mobile license, $1,149.96. Hydrokinetics for a pump, $16,489. Midwest Meter, $1,162.85. Chemicals, $7,067.42. And the Lake Department, which is paid by the 3 departments, for the Farrell Builders for vegetation spraying, $5,541.40, and these total to $373,812.36.
Can I ask a quick question on that? How come we put the total then in there if we only paid $1,000? Like,
Because
we didn't pay $10,000?
we received the check already from the insurance company, so we have to
Okay,
pay
got it. Thank you.
for the whole total cost.
Roll call.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Crystal Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Did we hear anything about the table?
I do, actually. He says it's just $50 for a permit, nothing to do with length. Ah, that answers that.
50 or 15?
50,
50.
50, for the construction of a fence permit, but not remodel, repair, or I don't know, I just read it, but that's not even how it goes.
So if you go to page 3 under E2, just put $50 or 50.00 cross off perennial foot,
Correct.
if I'm hearing you correctly.
You are hearing me very correctly.
I assume you're making a motion with that correction to adopt this order.
Yeah, I'll make that motion with that correction.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second by Alderman Skoltedi. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Crystal Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Mayor Barry votes yes. Motion carries 8-0. First, subparagraph G of 5 ILCS 120/2.06. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for any person wishing to address the council on any relevant subject matters concerning the city. The Illinois Open Meeting Act 5 ILCS 120/1 C mandates no action shall be taken on subject matters not listed on the agenda, but the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the subject matter to a future council and/or committee meeting. If anyone wishes to address the council, please provide your name and address, limit your comments or presentation to 3 minutes, and avoid repetitious comments. Anyone out there like to speak? Any alderman like to speak? Seeing none, we will go. Need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Pursuant to motion by Alderman Bryant, second by Alderman Bud. Pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C1 to discuss employment compensation, performance matters concerning city employee Justin McClure, including but not limited to with respect to pending grievances and any and all subject matters related to any and all the aforesaid subject matters, and to include when present the following persons to be present during all or part of such closed session, namely the mayor, alderman, city attorney, human resource manager, street and sewer superintendent, and such other person or person as the mayor may decide during the city council meeting and or such closed session. All right, so we got a motion and a second to go into closed session. Roll call.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi.
Yes.
Crystal Teddy.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
I want to vote no, but I'm going to vote yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0 to go into closed session. Thank you, gentlemen.